Okay, so this question is looking at finding a particular coefficient or term in the expansion. So the question says, work out the coefficient, so the number before x squared in the expansion of 4 plus 3x to the power of 5. Now you could, if you wanted to, expand the whole thing using Pascal's triangle, but that would be a little bit crazy and a massive waste of time because you only want the number before the x squared term. Now, to think about this, we can say, well, if we know that the power is going to be x squared, if this is going to be a and b, well, I've got to raise this part to the power of 2. So the b part, which is 3x, must be raised to the power of 2 because x squared gives you, x to the power of 2 gives you x squared, which is what you want. Now the power here is 5, and we know that previously on this topic that the powers of a and b, so something at 2, must give you 5, which must mean that a, this first number, must be put to the power of 3. So it must be 4 to the power of 3, because 3 add 2 gives you 5. That's using the previous knowledge on this topic. Now the thing is, we're missing the coefficient before all of this using Pascal's triangle. So we've got to use Pascal's triangle. Now we can see here that the power is the power of 5, so you want row 5. Remembering that this is row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. So we want this bottom row down here. Okay, now, also if you had like a bigger power here, if you needed to use more rows, again, you could find the rows you needed to by adding your numbers together. 1 plus 4 gives you 5, 4 or 6 gives you 10, so on and so forth. Okay, excellent. Now, here we've got 4 to the power of 3 as our first term. Now, if you were to work through this, right, you would begin at the start with 4 being raised to the biggest power, which is 5. Okay, you then reduce it by 1, which would give you 4 to the 4, reduce it by 1 again, which would give you 4 cubed. And this is what we want in R1, right? We've got 4 to the power of 3, which must mean the coefficient you want must be 10. Yeah, that's quite important. So again, if you were to work through the whole thing here, like in the previous questions, you would begin with 4 to the 5, 4 to the 4, 4 to the 3. But I only want the 4 to the 3 part, because that contains the x squared part. So my coefficient here is going to be 10. So overall, I've got 10 times by 4 cubed times by 3 x to the power of 2. Not very clear, is it? That should be a 2. So you've got 10. Now 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. And we're timesing this by 3x squared, which gives you 9x squared. Now 10 times by 64 is 640, timesing it by 9x squared. Now 640 times by 9 is going to give you 640 times by 9. Let's just make sure we don't make a mistake here and use our calculator. 640 times 9 gives us 5760. Okay, 5760x squared. So the coefficient here, the coefficient is just this bit, the number before the x squared. So this here is your answer, because the coefficient means the number before the algebra part. So that's your answer, 5760. Now, of course, if you work through every single term, you'd be there for ages. So this is a way to find it really quickly. Okay, hopefully that was useful.